starting from the approach run is a poor rhythm and a poor consistency of the approach run. Then looking at a poorly timed pole drop, so that it's not consistent or it's not smooth, so it then affects how the pole is being moved into the plant, whether there's pauses or the athlete's having to take the weight of the pole for too long. A poor takeoff position, so being too close is atypical of poor technique. Athletes like to feel like they're close to the bed, but they need enough space so they're not putting too much pressure on their lower back and put energy into the pole in the correct way. And then finally, the wrong choice of pole and a poor grip height. So typically, very strong, tall lads will try and grip too high for their technical capabilities, and that will put pressure on the wrong parts of the body as well, but also affect technical competence. So when selecting a pole, this can vary between every athlete. Initially, when learning to vault, you want to learn to vault on a straight, stiff pole, so a pole that is greater than your body weight, to make sure that you can learn to swing safely onto a bed, over a bungee or over a bar without hurting yourself. Moving on from that, it's very dependent upon an athlete's running mechanics, power and technique at takeoff, and the length of the pole will be directly related to how powerful they are at takeoff and how well they jump at takeoff, but then also their technique. So this is more specific to the athlete and can range massively. We want to start on nice soft poles so that moving the pole to vertical is really easy when it's bent, and when it recoils you're still moving forwards onto the bed, and then gradually start to move up stiffnesses once you know how to control your body in there on a bent pole. The elements of a vaulter's training program, specifically working on speed and running mechanics, that's very important. If the first part of the approach run and the run up isn't consistent and isn't strong enough to carry the weight of the pole as you're running, then this affects the whole of the rest of the vault. So speed work and running mechanics are really key. Core stability, strength and conditioning and basic general conditioning, very important. And then moving on to vault technical training and gymnastic work as well. Periodising a year for a vaulter very much depends upon whether you've got 2 competition seasons, an indoor and an outdoor competition season, or whether you're just going for 1 competition season within a 12-month period. But ultimately, in the run-up to a competition season, you would start with breaking down the vault, working technically, working potentially on short approach drills and mechanics, while still maintaining full approach pole runs and running mechanics, and then gradually building into your longer run-ups, your stiffer poles, your competition prep. It's very much the same as any other athletic event in the way that you periodise it and the way that you break it down into strength, into speed, into your blocks of 6 weeks of different activities as you build into competition season. Take-off refusal problems or take-off issues happen to every athlete and every vaulter at some stage in their career. As they grow, as they become stronger, as their body shape and type changes, then this will affect how they feel as they're approaching the vault and how they feel at takeoff. In order to cure them, it just takes a lot of patience, taking the pressure off, avoiding competitions until such times as the athletes are ready, potentially breaking down the vault again to shorter approaches, rebuilding confidence before coming back to full run-ups, and making it fun and achievable in different ways with lots of different challenges so that athletes feel comfortable and enjoy what they're doing, and removing too much of the pressure surrounding it. It very much depends upon the athlete. Some do benefit from having a total brain break. We certainly at the end of the outdoor competition season will take a break from vaulting anyway, just because it's mentally a very challenging event and the athletes do need some downtime for a few weeks to a month. Other athletes like to try and plug their way through, but if you can take a break and you have time and the patience to take a break, then that can give the athletes just some time to then regroup and come back to it.
Excellent.